What's Unfolded, episode 42. I'm your host, Eric, with my main man, Ron. How you doing?
Oh, I am
That
I
way.
am fired up and ready to go for this one.
Fired up. We've got a lot to go over, as usual. So
Like things just happen.
every time, man, it doesn't stop. Let's talk about real quick our leadoff story, which is the Dallas Cowboys defeated the New Orleans Saints yesterday, 27-17. Overall, the game, a little sloppy, kind of concerning on both sides. Taysom Hill, 4 turnovers in the game. Cowboys trying to run the ball. Ezekiel Elliott only got 45 yards rushing. Um, who would you be more concerned with, the Cowboys or the Saints at this point?
The Cowboys, absolutely. Because look, Taysom Hill, yeah, I understand 4 intercept. Look, I get it. You know, he he is not Drew Brees, but I was impressed with him during that game. Look, he had that middle finger, and I guess he's going to have surgery on it. He couldn't throw with that splint on it, and that's obvious because he was fine before that happened. Once that happened, that affected his game,
He
and
rushed for 100 yards.
I don't know if it was because of that, but it might have been in his head. Like
Yeah.
this is not a veteran we're talking
Look,
about.
I think again, they overpaid for him to keep him,
Oh yeah,
but I think they tried to keep him based on the fact that he was going to be that utility guy, not the
yeah,
starting quarterback.
yeah,
And once that came to light with the Winston injury and that he may have to start, you can
yep,
clearly see what happened there. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the concern has to be the Cowboys. They just have not looked good for weeks
no,
now. And even when they're winning, and we can say, yes, ugly wins, they still count in the records, right? You're still
yeah,
getting the wins. But you're not seeing any of that continuity anymore. You're not seeing them able to establish a run or throw the ball deep or do some of those things they were doing. The defense is playing very well for Dallas. That is a plus for them. If they can continue to drive it that way, again, they've got a good shot. But you got to get this offense back on page. And I don't know what it is or what's causing it, but when Dak went out with that injury, they haven't seemed to be the same since.
no, and he's clearly not right. He's clearly not right. And you can see it just when he's out there jogging back into the huddle, and there's just something wrong. Like you just know there's something wrong, but he wants to be out there because I mean, let's face it, we all know that running backs get shuffled around quite often, and you know it's very easy for a running back to lose their job these days.
Yeah, and look, Pollard had that nice run for 58 yards, got the touchdown. I'm sure Zeke's a little nervous about it in the back of his mind,
Absolutely.
like I have to keep playing. But if they're going to make a run in the playoffs, they may want to sit him for a little bit. They've
Yeah.
had some struggles. Listen, very tough week for them. Turd Mistress, thanks for joining. Right? So, really, if you think about it, the head coach was out with the COVID. They had a lot of different things going on that played factors with that. So, to get out of there with a win, great. But again, you're not going to want to be 3 weeks from now saying, "Hey, we should have sat him a couple of weeks just to let him get healthy enough for the
Right.
playoffs."
That's what
And
they
then it's
should have
too
done.
late at that point, So we'll have to see how Dallas decides to handle this because to me, it's I think more about managing at this point some of these players so that they go into. Look, there's a good shot they make the playoffs, unless something drastically happens where they go on a losing streak. They've got the NFC East locked up.
Yeah,
Appreciate the
and
bits.
that
Thank you.
that should be a no-brainer, to be honest with you. Um,
Falcon, Valkyrie, thanks for joining.
it's it's just their running game is not good, and I now believe that they did not upgrade their offensive coordinator.
Look,
Just saying,
we'll
it's not
have
an
to see.
upgrade.
I think he's a good offensive coordinator. We'll see. Um, let's move on to the big matchup of the week, and that would be the New England Patriots, who are going to be traveling to Buffalo this Monday in a big AFC East showdown. What are some of your keys to the game?
Well, you have to be disciplined, and you have to stay in your lanes. So, because look, Josh Allen is a big guy. He can run. So you can't get caught out of your lanes. The way he's been throwing the ball this year, if you stay in your lanes, you're going to get turnovers, you're going to stop them, and that offense won't be as lethal as it was last year. He's throwing the ball, overhead too much. So if he's going to do that, you got to key on, those receivers that are going to get the ball. And if you have J.C. Jackson in the right place, he's going to get some turnovers.
So this is going to be their toughest match so far of the year. Buffalo on both sides of the ball are very efficient. So 5th overall in offense, 7th in passing, 11th rushing. Number 1 defense in the league. 2nd against the pass, 6th against the rush. We saw some struggle last week when they couldn't run the ball, New England.
Right.
They're going to have to, again, they'll try to establish the run. But now Buffalo's lost their starting cornerback to Davius, and there's a Tre'Davious White. And so there's a really good shot for them to really try to move the ball through the air. I think they got to focus on that aspect of it because you're gonna have to see if you can create more plays than Buffalo does in the air. Buffalo is very good in the air. They throw the ball well.
Again, Eric, like you're looking at the Patriots running game. It's running by committee. They're all going to get their shots. The thing is, can Buffalo stop those screen passes? That's the question. If they can't stop that, that is just like running the ball. And when you're dishing it out to Lewis and to Bolden, especially those two, and they're picking up those yards, it's like a running game. And that's going to open it up. And then with, White out, that's going to make things a little better for the Patriots passing game. And frankly, I like the odds with the way he's throwing the ball.
Yeah, my one concern would be, too, obviously the last game, 270 yards given up on the ground. We got the 20th ranked defense as a team. You've got to be able to control that side of the ball because Josh Allen gives you an element as well. He's their 2nd leading rusher on the team.
Right. So, that's what I'm saying. Stay in those lanes.
Yes, they're going to have to be disciplined.
Don't let them get in.
My last key and the biggest key, I didn't realize it till I looked at some of the numbers today, 3rd down efficiency. So Buffalo overall as a team is converting 50% of the time on 3rd down, holding the opponent to 33%. New England's converting at 45% and holding their opponents to 36%. Whichever one of those defenses can control that stat and can get those teams off the field, will win this game. 3rd down efficiency is going to be key in this game for both teams. New England will not win this game if they're going at 33% clip on 3rd downs. They're going to be giving the ball back to Buffalo, giving them more opportunities. Right. 3rd down discipline is going to be key. Getting into, 3rd and shorts.
Exactly.
Because that's going to be important. Spartan, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So you want to make sure that you're not getting in these 3rd and longs on both sides, both teams. But whichever team does that. Also remember, New England, Kyle Duggar, possibly out. They still haven't, the COVID, being a Monday game, maybe possibly can come back if he gets the 2 24-hour tests back to back.
Right.
But we may be out Duggar as well.
Big. Yeah, that's
big.
He's
leading the team in tackles, and you think about what he does from a defensive point of he can play the slot, the tight ends, he plays safety, and they're 2 guys, Diggs and Cole Beasley. Beasley's that slot guy. They like to throw the ball. That's their 2 leading receivers. So not having Duggar in the slot could hurt New England.
Right.
So
it's gonna be a tough game, and it's probably going to be one in the trenches because that's going to affect everything else.
And as a Patriots fan, having to wait an extra day for it, now it's just going to amp it up more because
I know
it's really going to be Ugh,
It's a battle for first place, though.
It is. All right, let's move on to Antonio Brown and his 3-game suspension after initially attempting to falsify his vaccination card.
Didn't I tell you?
We said
What
it was
did I
coming,
tell you?
right? We said it was coming. But how does this hurt the Bucs' chance for returning to the playoffs?
I mean, it doesn't affect them going to the playoffs. But what it could affect is whether they get a home game or not.
So I'm looking at it this way. There's talk, and again, it's just rumor right now, that they may cut Antonio Brown. Because again, you think about all the issue he's had off the field, and this is just one more of those things. This is what happened with Pittsburgh. This is why he's not in New England. This is why he's in Tampa Bay currently.
No, I agree. He's a problem.
They're 5-0 with him on the field. They're 5-0 with him on the field. If they cut Antonio Brown, that changes the whole complexity of the Tampa Bay offense.
Yeah, then he'll sign with the Rams.
He's not signing. I don't think anybody else will touch this guy. I think he got it. He got a ride with Tampa because of Tom. Tom's the one that put the stamp on that.
Oh, I
There's
know.
nobody else touching him again. He's done. This is his last stop.
No.
He gets cut. He's in trouble. I think he's done.
No, he'll go somewhere else.
And then there was another player on Tampa, one of the cornerbacks that got the same thing, 3-game suspension. So I don't know if he was in cahoots with Brown at the beginning of that or not. So it's just interesting to see.
Yeah, it is.
Week 13 is on the docket, my friend.
Yes.
What games of interest are you looking forward to this Sunday?
Well, not counting the Pats in Buffalo.
Obviously.
I got 4.
So do I.
They're probably the same
I threw
4.
a 5th one in just for you.
All right, so at the bottom of that list is Washington and Las Vegas.
Ooh, I didn't have that one. Nice.
Washington's 5-6.
Yep.
You know, this is a big game for them. If they can even it out at 6-6, they're still in this.
Yeah, what are they? 2 games back of the Cowboys at that point.
Yeah. You know, I mean...
and they face them twice still. They haven't played Dallas yet.
And we see what's going on with the rest of that conference. It's very top heavy, but you know, like what is it? 11-6. If you can go 11-6, you're in.
Yeah.
But you might be able to get in there with a 9-8 record in that conference. You might be able to get in there, and you know, I know they have some tough games ahead of them, but that's one to look for. And of course, Las Vegas, 6-5, is trying to catch Kansas City. And it is possible at the end of this weekend that they could be tied with Kansas City.
Yeah. No, so I had one of my games of interest is the Ravens and Steelers. So Ravens at the Steelers.
I save all the good ones for last, Eric. I mean,
I got a few here. Hold on, but is this the end of the Pittsburgh run? And we keep talking about it all season. They didn't look good last week.
No,
but the Ravens didn't look good either. The Ravens can't afford to lose this game.
And I look, for the life of me, I don't know how Baltimore is 8-3. They should be more like 6-5 because that's how they've played. They played on and off. But Pittsburgh, they're at Pittsburgh, so that is one thing that they have going for them. You know, I mean, if Pittsburgh has anything left, they have to win this game because if they lose this game, they're going to fall too far out, and they have to climb over too many teams at this point.
Yep,
and too many good teams.
Yep. So really fun game. I also had Buccaneers at Falcons, and you're probably like,
I didn't have that one.
So I'm going to say, listen, Tampa Bay has not played well on the road. No Antonio Brown, one of their starting cornerbacks. This team right now is going through a lot of emotions. And I know that sounds crazy, but if the Falcons can catch them just right, there's a really good possibility that the Falcons could win that game.
No.
I'm not – listen, anything's probably – any given Sunday, we know that.
No.
We know that. Any given
Not
Sunday.
happening. It's not happening.
Any given Sunday, bro. That's why they play the game.
Gronk,
they didn't play the
2
game.
2 touchdowns this week.
All right. We'll see. But I think that's a game of interest. What else you got?
Of course. I had Denver at Kansas City.
I had that one as well.
Denver 6-5, Kansas City 7-4. We see the obvious
We know
is
what.
there.
Yep.
Whoever wins is in first place, basically.
So if the Chiefs are gonna take over this division finally, as the team we expected them to be, this is the game. Because if they
Right.
can go out there and show that they can beat the Broncos with ease, and I'm not. If this is an overtime game where it's down to the wire, I'm not convinced the Chiefs have
No.
made that move to bounce back. But if the Chiefs destroy the Broncos, which I expect them to, then I would say, hey, look, the
Yeah,
Chiefs are one of the top teams in the AFC.
I do as well. But Denver has played very good defense. Especially since Von Miller left.
Yep.
Go figure.
Sometimes
you give up your best player and then it makes the team better. I don't know.
Sometimes
So,
it does. What else you got?
And of course, the Chargers at
The Bengals. I have the
the
same game.
Bengals.
Yep, I think that's a great game.
I'm going to watch this game.
I just want to listen. The Bengals, if they're for real, just get some more wins here. Because every time we ever like, all right, the Bengals, that's it. This is it. They're making their move. They end up faltering and having a couple losses.
Like
They can beat
Cincinnati,
the Chargers are struggling.
Cincinnati wins this game. It destroys my predictions. But I would like
Cleveland's
to
done.
see
Yeah, you're being
Cincinnati win. I really would. I've never liked the Chargers ever since they started whining about losing to the Patriots. I never liked them. So, frankly, I could care less. And I also think that Cincinnati is going to win this game.
I hope so. I really do. My last game that I had of interest, and this is for you, I put the Vikings at the Lions because every week you put the Vikings in. So Minnesota, I said, Ron, want to see that game because every week you've had Minnesota as one of your games of interest. So, hey, can the Lions
I just chalk this one up as a win from Minnesota.
Or does it go tie again?
No. No.
Because Minnesota's played probably more close games than any team in the league.
Yeah, I know.
So as much as we think this should be a cakewalk, they're going to be the ones that make it difficult and probably win in overtime or tie.
Look, if you lose to Detroit, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Period.
Time to fire Zimmer at that point.
Oh, whoever loses to Detroit is going to get some backlash.
Do you have one more on there?
Nope. Yeah. That is good? All of them.
All right. So there's a couple games of interest. So obviously we'll be watching. And then some of these, obviously, playoff implications now we're starting to see. It's that time of the year where some of these wins and losses could end up affecting the team. So it'll be fun to watch. This is a great week.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend, triple play time.
Triple play time.
Triple play, and I know how excited you are about the triple play because you love the triple play.
I do love the triple play, but I have no idea
who you
what
picking?
to pick in this one. I have no idea.
So,
who the hell do you cut? I mean, really.
All right. So you ready?
All right.
I'm first this week, correct?
Oh, okay.
All right. So we are deciding between these top sack leaders currently in the NFL, and that's Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, and Matt Judon. So which player would we start, bench, and cut? So I looked at it as a collective whole of what they've done over their career, but I also looked at some of their age, so it played a factor. I went with my starter, Myles Garrett. He's got 56 and a half sacks. He's been to 2 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro, but he's only 25 years old. So out of the 3, he's the youngest. He's honestly right in line with all the rest of them. I benched T.J. Watt, 62 sacks, 3 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros, but he's 27. So he's 2 years older. So you're going to tell me Myles Garrett can get 6 sacks in 2 years and overpass T.J. Watt if he really has to. So I feel that, which means, and it hurt, but I cut Matt Judon, who's only had 46 sacks in his career, 2 Pro Bowls. He's 29. Obviously having the best season of his career this season. Might be a culmination of the coaching and the team he's on now versus Baltimore and how they used them. But I didn't feel as comfortable saying that out of the 3 of them, he was one of those top sack guys just based on what he's done in his career. You're up.
That's pretty good. Again, I'm starting TJ Watt.
Okay.
And the reason is because TJ Watt does a lot more than, get up at that line and then go get the quarterback. He is running that defense. He is more than just a sack guy. And so is Judon as well. But the age factor is there. It's glaring. So TJ Watt to me is more like a general on that field as like a quarterback would be. And to me, that value far and away exceeds what Garrett can become because of that factor. Because, the sacks are there. So if you take that out of the equation, there is more that TJ Watt brings to the table. So I start him. With that, Garrett is on my bench. The numbers are there. That guy is a monster. He's a monster. And he will get sacks as long as he is going to be playing the game. And unfortunately, it does hurt. Matt Judon is cut. I love the guy.
He's great.
Best thing the Patriots did in the
offseason. Yeah, absolutely.
At that, 29, like how many more years is he going to have?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But
listen,
hopefully a lot.
Listen, yes, for New England.
Yeah.
Yes, for New England. Now, so that's our pick. That's our triple play. We do it every week. Once again, if you enjoy what you're seeing, we are live every Friday night at 6 p.m. We're on Rhode Island Broadcasting. You can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can also watch us on SEC-TV in Southeast Connecticut on Public Access Channel 12 now. We're excited about that. You can follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. Don't have time to watch? Listen. Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify. So many different ways to watch, follow. Ron, can you give them that Twitch just in case they want to follow the Twitch?
The
RI.
Twitch.tv/RI_broadcasting. We always have a bunch of people on Twitch watching us. So join in on it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Get in there, subscribe, throw out the bits. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps.
Look at you. You are just you've been rolling the past couple of weeks with this.
Yeah.
So let's go on to your number one topic, the thing you love the most, and that's the NHL. And a lot of Bruins.
NHL.
Lot going on. So the gentleman we're going to put on the screen right now, left winger Jake Debrusk, has asked the Bruins for a trade. Do you think the team should grant it, and how would it affect the team overall?
Well, if teams want to give a draft pick for them, that ain't happening anytime soon because the Bruins are up against it with players. Providence Bruins are in the midst of a COVID problem. So the Bruins cannot grab any players from down in the minors. So he is not getting traded for a pick. Absolutely not at this time, at least for a week. So it's quite concerning that he wants to trade. He wants out, but he's playing on power plays. You have the opportunity to score goals.
Yeah.
And what do I see during those power plays in the last couple of games?
Not many goals.
He's just dishing it off. He scored a goal last night in a power play, but he's constantly on the power play. He's constantly passing. He's there to shoot. You have one of the best shots on the team. Shoot.
Yeah, so he's only got 4 goals and 3 assists in 19 games. He's a plus minus of -2.
Yep.
Overall. So then I went back and looked at it. So he's been with the team, what, 4 or 5 years? 5 years. His best year was 2017. He had 43 points. He was a plus 13 with 16 goals, 27 assists. After that,
Yep.
he's basically tapered off every year since.
Yeah.
So
And
for me, I don't. Is it more the player or is it the team? To me, I think he's trying to move, thinking that it's the team. And it looks like his numbers have just declined consistently throughout the last 4 years.
yeah, because he's not playing smart. Like when you watch him play, he hustles and he does all the things that you want to see, but those smart those smart plays where you just got to be in the right place. He's never putting himself in the right place. Look, this guy's got a lot of talent, but there's also hundreds of guys just like him that come through the league every year that just can't find that that thing that makes them better. And it's usually, like, we talk about the football intelligence of quarterbacks, right? It's the same principle. Like when you look at a Patrice Bergeron or a Connor McDavid or some of these upper players, they're always in the right place at the right time. You got to be in that spot. Just watch the other
Instinct,
players.
right? The instinct has to be there. You got to be able to understand what the
Yeah.
game, what the other team's trying to do against you, and then obviously change
Exactly.
based off of that. So let me ask you this question: will he be traded?
I believe so. And you know what? I would like them to trade with Philadelphia.
Wow.
Konechny. Because what's happening to Konechny is the same thing as what Jake Debrusk is going through. Starts off like a house on fire, and now he's being benched for players. He's like a year behind where Jake Debrusk is now.
Now he's a campfire.
So now he's like sitting out healthy scratches.
He's roasting marshmallows now at this
Right.
point.
So if there's a team that is a match made in heaven, it would be Philadelphia. You swap the two players and you just say, okay, let's see what happens.
All
Who
right,
gets
so
the better deal?
I know you wanted to discuss some of the injury concerns with Boston this week. Some of the COVID situations, Marchand being out for the next game as well.
Yep.
Are the Bruins going to be okay?
Well, look, they lost Zaboral last night. It didn't look good. I don't think it's. I mean, it could be a fractured kneecap for all I know. I haven't heard the results of what the injury is, but he's not probably going to play the next game. He's not going to play against Tampa Bay. And let me tell you, he's been playing so well, probably the second or third best defenseman on the team lately. That's how well he's been playing. He's actually making Grzelcyk look bad. So I think eventually he's going to take that spot that Grzelcyk has right now. So now Connor Clifton is the only available player for the Bruins right now. So he will go in undoubtedly against Tampa Bay. The problem is if somebody gets sick, because Cassidy is out because of COVID. So it could spread to somebody else. And that could happen today or tomorrow. And if it does, they don't have a player to replace that person. And if it's 2 or 3 players, you're going to look at postponements. That's what's going to happen.
Gotcha.
And if that happens, that's going to be even more difficult because they're already behind on games, like 4 or 5 games on everybody. So their schedule is going to be murder.
Yeah, towards the end of it, at the end of the season. So let's discuss. So Evander Kane has cleared waivers and is currently in the AHL. Should a team look to trade for him? So I looked at this one aspect. They're both left wingers. Debrusk is a left winger. It's a $2 million difference in salary, so it's not a huge jump. Could Boston possibly look at Kane as a potential trade partner for Debrusk.
They could. The only problem is Kane has got a suspension, right?
No, he's done with the suspension.
He's already done the 20
Yep,
games.
that's right. Yeah, so then they put him on waivers. He cleared. He's actually playing now in the AHL. So they can trade for him now.
Well, if he doesn't have to serve any suspension games, then why not take a flyer out on him? You know.
So then we started to look at it. Listen, we did a story about him a couple months ago with the wife and all the situation about gambling, and now the NHL's done all the investigations, realized that none of it was true.
Yeah.
And the more that you're starting to hear these stories, it seems like the spouse is actually the one that's really creating these stories and just trying to get the media on her side.
Right.
And I'm not saying either way, right or wrong, whatever happened in their relationship happened. He's probably no saint as well. But I would say this, that some of the things that he's done didn't never happen. I mean, the COVID thing, falsifying his card, he did
stupid.
It. Right? And he'd admitted, look, I did it. I don't want to talk about it.
And, of course, the problem with the teammates, too.
And again, he's saying he didn't lose any sleep over it. He doesn't think it's a big issue. That, to me, is concerning because that's just showing you don't feel like you had a problem at all. And to me, that sometimes I think you stated it, though. Boston has a very strong core of leaders that I don't think that would affect them at all.
You look up and down that lineup. I mean, you're talking guys that have been around a long time. You know, Pasternak has been around for a while now already. Bergeron, Marchand, Smith, Coyle, Hall. There's up in Foligno. Like, he's not going to affect anybody on this team. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So if there is a team with all this leadership, Boston is a good spot.
Right.
And they need him.
Listen, he played 56 games last season, 22 goals, 27 assists.
Yeah.
Tied his career high in goals last season.
Yep.
I would take 22 goals on the Boston Bruins right now. They need a guy that's going to be willing to shoot.
And that's in a shortened season, Eric.
Right? So think about it. Like, to me, if Boston's smart, they're kicking the tires on this one. They're at least kicking the tires and saying, look, if you want to go that bad, San Jose saves some money. Maybe, you know what I mean? Boston picks up a little more of Kane's contract so it doesn't affect, the Sharks as much. But to me, this makes sense where both players both want out or need to get out one way or the other.
And then you can trade Debrusk for a draft pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a win-win, really. And I believe the Bruins may still have some room under the cap. I'm not quite sure on that, but I'd have to check it.
My hockey knowledge is growing by the day because of you.
Oh, my God.
I appreciate it. Huh? I was like, what position? Left wing, bang.
No, that's good.
Let's make it happen.
In all actuality, though, Jake Debrusk is a right winger, but he's playing on the left side
He's
because
listed as left winger on the Boston Bruins website, and that's vital to me.
I'm just saying.
All right, my friend.
Position is right.
Let's talk about a sport that continuously cannot get anything right, and that would be Major League Baseball. So Major League Baseball.
They never get anything right?
You want it? That beautiful picture that's coming up by my producer right now is going to say what the problem is going on with Major League Baseball. And that's a lockout. Look at that nice lock. You see the Dodger Stadium right in the background. Yep. How great is that? So since the Major League Baseball inception, 9 lockouts. This is the 9th lockout in Major League Baseball history. What do you think this means for baseball now today?
Okay, so my thoughts is both sides are greedy.
Yes.
Now, it always comes down to the fans paying more at the gate.
Ultimately.
So it doesn't matter who wins, who loses on either side. But we, as fans, are going to pay for it.
Exactly.
Now, the problem I have with all of this could ultimately put baseball down as the 4th major sport. Hockey will pass it up.
Listen, hockey did a smart thing this year, right? You get TNT involved, you get ESPN involved. Yep. You're starting to get revenue from that, from the TV deals. baseball honestly is starting to lose its ground. And
Look,
this is just if they go into this season,
we're gonna see $40 million players this year
if
it comes back.
Ron, if they go into the season missing games,
Yeah.
you're ultimately already starting off on the wrong foot for next year.
Yeah.
Like they've got to get this figured out. They've got basically 2 months because come February, spring training starts. If there's a lockout, that pushes regular season games either back or you start canceling regular season games. They need to stop.
Look, I generally side with players more often than not, but this is getting a little much now.
Both of them have some legitimate arguments that make sense. But my point is this. When you ultimately look at, and I did a small podcast, my Sports Unfolded Sports Short on on Anchor on Sports Unfolded. Check it out. They last met on Wednesday. Lockout started on Thursday. Do you know how long they met for on Wednesday? 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Why is that a surprise?
Right? So this is neither side wants to even work at it or try to compromise or make some things work. So to me, again, you hit the nail right on the head, right? When you said the fans ultimately will pay, because guess who's paying for all these high-priced players? The fans. The ticket prices go up. If they start missing games, ticket prices go up. The concession stands go up. And all they ultimately care about is themselves, both sides, because they're not looking at the fans' perspective of this. They're looking at what's going to make us the most money and what's going to ultimately cost the fans the most money. You can't tell me for 7 minutes it was you have the fans' best interests at heart. You had nothing you're not even thinking about the fans anymore.
No, let's be honest. Baseball has never cared about the fans.
No.
They've never cared. And the more people start realizing that, then it ends.
The last one they had in the 90s, they said it. It hurt them. They lost fans. They lost a lot of revenue
this time,
and they're going to do it again.
Lose.
Yeah, they're going to do it again. And I think you hit it, right? Perfect. NHL will surpass Major League Baseball as number 3 because of the fact that they're now starting to be more visible in homes because of that TV deal.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball is going to drop the ball here, literally, because they're ultimately not even going to probably play regular season games. There's going to be so.
I mean, and you look at it like when you look at the 4 major sports, what is the least entertaining? It's baseball. Look, I grew up when I was 6, watching, Yaz and all the Sox playing. You know what I mean? I don't see that anymore. There's not that identity of, hey, this is your team. As a fan, this is your team. Baseball isn't like that anymore. It's just a money-making machine, and those cogs are starting to move slower.
Yep.
And slower and slower because people are starting to get fed up. The games are too long. It's just monotonous. And seriously, I'm so tired. And the Sox are just as much to blame as anybody when you have to watch freaking what's his face catcher. I can't even think of his name. I'm so fired up right now. I can't think of his name, but after every pitch, he has to back out of the box, do a little walk, fix his gloves. It's like the Nomar thing all over again, and it's like every single pitch, and they all do it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Just throw the ball, play the freaking game. I almost swore there. I'm getting mad.
No swear.
Because I'm so sick of baseball. I'm so sick of it.
So let me ask you.
This summer, it's going to be all about soccer. It's going to be all about WNBA.
I love it.
We'll
be covering more of it. Absolutely. So since you brought the Sox up, let's talk real quick about the trade they made. Hunter Renfroe was traded to the Milwaukee Brewers for Jackie Bradley Jr. How do you feel about the move?
This is just ridiculous. This is the Red Sox saying we don't want to pay Renfroe. So we'll trade him for Jackie Bradley. Everybody will be all happy that we got Jackie back. Yeah. Let's bat 200.
200. He batted 163
I'm
last
just
season.
saying, he might have
163, six home runs, 29 RBIs. 29 RBIs.
Spike.
You just gave up a guy that hit 31 home runs, 96 RBIs, and 259 batting average. You know what? You know what Jackie Bradley Jr.'s best year was with Boston batting average? 2020, he batted 283.
Yeah.
He's never batted even close to that any of his seasons before that.
No.
They picked him up for a glove.
Yeah.
I
but
don't get
Renfroe led the league in assists.
Like, what are we doing? What are they doing?
It's like he brought so much to the table.
I don't get it.
Like, what do you?
I don't understand that move.
No, this is because they didn't want to pay, and they think they have the answer down in the minors somewhere.
And they get they JD re-upped, right? So I think that might be some of the factor too, because now they gotta, you know what I mean? They're gonna be paying him. So I don't know.
Yeah. So it's the luxury tax. They don't want to pay the luxury tax. That's what it is.
But don't worry about it. They're going to be striking anyway, so it don't matter.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. You know what? I hope they don't come back this year. I really don't. It'll make me feel better.
It'll give us more to cover on other sports.
That's right.
Ron, it's face-off time. This is a big one. This one we might argue this.
Terrible.
You don't like this one?
No.
Wow. So let's bring that picture up because it's getting me all fired up just seeing both of these guys. Who would you rather have at this point as the New England Patriots starting quarterback? Tom Brady or Mac Jones? And we're talking about current, not, don't go with the 7 Super Bowl titles. Don't go with the if you had a choice today, based on what you've seen this season, which quarterback would you want? One of us has to be for Tom. One of us has to be for Mac. Kenny, I think you joined. Which one? Who should argue for who? My main man, the man, Kenny, has joined us. One of our Sports Unfolded analysts, our NBA top dog. I don't know if he chimed in with the Nomar thing.
I know.
I don't know. Maybe he's not on. So I'm first this week, right? So I guess I get to pick if nobody jumps in real quick here. I'm going to give him one more chance here.
Who does Eric get? Mac Jones or Tom Brady?
Who would I rather have today as the New England Patriots starting quarterback? All right. This is where we're going, my friend. Are you ready?
Yeah, I already know who you're going to pick.
I'm going to pick Mac.
I know you are.
I knew you know I would. And you would pick Tom. So I could clearly see where this is going to go anyway. All right. So this is how I look at it. If you look at these shared numbers of Tom Brady's first year to Mac Jones' first year, Mac Jones has clearly surpassed what Tom Brady can do. You can clearly see that this kid is more intelligent, has the opportunity to grow. And I'm looking at from a future standpoint, we're able to grow with Mac Jones. Plus, he also gets other guys involved that Tom would refuse to get involved because Tom wanted his guys. Tom has his guys. He wants his high-priced Antonio Browns, Mike Evans, Grunks, these top guys. Godwin. You don't have that in New England. He wouldn't fit in this offense. It's the same offense as last season, and yet they're performing much better with Mac Jones than Tom Brady because Mac Jones doesn't look at how much they make, what their number is, what they've done for me in the past. It's all about who's on that field and how can I make them better. Mac Jones definitely would be my starting quarterback today if I had a choice.
You are out of your mind. And I'll tell you why. First of all, you just said Mac Jones was smarter than Brady when
I didn't say that. I said he's an intelligent quarterback. Did I say he was smarter than Brady?
No,
he's an intelligent
football-wise.
No.
You did. You just said
I said he's a smart quarterback. He's a smart quarterback.
You said he's smarter than him.
He's not smarter than Brady.
All right, look. Tom Brady has already done it with nobodies. He's already done it with nobodies. So
what happened
when you're saying that he wants his guys,
he wants his guys.
He has never said all through his career in New England, he never said, "Oh, I need you to bring this guy. I need you to bring that guy." He just followed.
New England Patriots trade a second-round draft pick for Sanu because Tom Brady said he wanted him after the Antonio Brown debacle. Because
One
he
guy,
wanted a guy. Because he can't throw to anybody. He refuses to throw to anybody that doesn't have a big price tag or a top-notch wide receiver. Mac Jones isn't. Tom Brady isn't throwing to Nelson Aguilar this year. He's not. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Look, the question isn't whether he brings his guys or not. It's like, who would you want to lead the team
right now?
Right now. And
Tom
I'll tell
Brady
you,
would not throw to Nelson Aguilar. Would not throw to Kendrick Bourne.
As long as Tom Brady is in this league, I take him over anyone.
Because you're thinking about the past. And again,
done.
In 2019, he refused to throw to certain guys because he didn't feel they were worthy enough. He would do the same thing with this team this year. Mac Jones isn't doing that. Mac Jones would clearly, as you can see, he doesn't care who he throws to. Jonnu Smith is not getting throws from Tom Brady.
The Patriots would not be a winning team with him, with Tom Brady?
I don't think they'd be that successful with Tom Brady.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, my God. How can you even say that?
Because I've seen it.
Look, yeah, you've seen it. You've seen his career.
His career was when he didn't think he was bigger than the game. And then he got to a point in 2019 when that whole thing blew up and he wanted out of New England. He refused to throw to certain guys. Then now all of a sudden we didn't have talent. You didn't have talent for all those years before that. N'Keal Harry. He would not throw to N'Keal Harry. He already said it. He didn't want the guy on the field at all.
They don't throw to N'Keal Harry. He has, 3-4 receptions all year?
That's fine. What I'm saying is
it's the same thing.
Mac Jones is not saying he wouldn't throw to him.
It's still the same results, Eric.
Tom said he wouldn't throw to certain guys.
Look, if Tom Brady was the quarterback right now, we'd be talking, hey, we're going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Okay. I don't know. I think we've got a pretty good shot with Mac. And I'm not falling off the bandwagon. I'm not a Tom Brady. Listen, he did great things for New England for 20 years.
Yes, and he's still doing it.
If I look at today, because of the talent that he has in Tampa Bay.
He can still do it. The guy can still throw the ball.
So let me ask you this question. Why didn't he go to the Jets or one of these other failing organizations? He went somewhere where he knew he had a shot to go to a Super Bowl because they had so much talent already established. He wasn't going to a regular team. He wasn't going to do it. Of
course, Eric. That's what you do when you get older. You don't want to make it too difficult. You don't go to the Jets. This is my point. Nobody goes to the Jets.
Okay, time out. So think about what you're saying. Which team has more talent now? Tampa Bay or New England? Are you serious?
New
England. What team are you? Antonio Brown, Grunk, Mike Evans, Godwin,
Antonio Brown is suspended, and you said that he's probably going to get cut.
Okay, but Fournette. You're talking about top echelon offensive talent on Tampa Bay. New England does not have that same talent. He would not want to be in New England.
Just because they're not known doesn't mean that the talent isn't there.
Okay.
Look, I'll take that New England defense over Tampa Bay defense.
I won that face-off without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely
people write in, chime in, email Sports Unfolded, Sports_Unfolded 2021 at yahoo.com. Tell me who won that one because I clearly won that one without a doubt.
You did not win it.
Without a doubt.
Tom Brady is still the GOAT.
He's still the GOAT. At the past. Today's team.
If he was on this team, they might even be a game ahead.
Oh, you're crazy. The game they wouldn't have lost, Tampa Bay. Maybe. And even that, Mac Jones looked better than Tom Brady.
Then two, because they probably wouldn't have lost another game.
I'm done.
They started 2-4.
Ron.
They would have at least started 3-3 or 4-2.
Ron, what time is it? It's pick and roll, baby. Pick and roll. The best segment on this show. Kenny loves it. You love it. I love it. Pick and roll. This was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, jeez. I had my number one from the get-go, from the jump. But we are going to rank these famous number 42s. Jackie Robinson, Ronnie Lott, Mariano Rivera, James Worthy, and Paul Warfield. So great players, all won number 42. We're going to rank them from 5 to 1. I'm first this week. So I started off with James Worthy, 17.6 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, 7-time All-Star, 3-time champ, 2-time All-NBA. But I just looked at his numbers were kind of like 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Didn't wow me off when I wrote them down. Number 4, Paul Warfield. And the reason why I picked him, I thought about the era afterwards and when he played versus today's game. So the numbers don't jump off the page, but you're looking at 427 receptions for over 8,500 yards, 85 touchdowns. Doesn't sound like, oh, wow. But if you think about, they didn't pass as much back then as they do now. So his numbers probably would have been even better if he's in today's NFL. 8-time Pro Bowl, 2-time All-Pro, 2-time Super Bowl champ, 1-time NFL champ. So he won one before the league actually formed. So 3-time champion overall. Number 3, one of my favorite players of all time. Love the way this man hit. Ronnie Lott, 1,146 tackles, 63 interceptions, 5 touchdowns from a safety. 10-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro, 4-time Super Bowl champ. Still, my favorite story I have ever heard is instead of getting surgery on his finger and missing weeks, he cut it off so he could keep playing. Ronnie Lott, true football player. Love that man. Loved Ronnie Lott. Number 2, Mariano Rivera, 2.21 ERA, 82-60 in his career, 652 saves, 1,173 strikeouts, 13 All-Stars, 5 World Series champions, and he was an MVP of the World Series as a closer. You don't see that. How many times does that happen? A closer winning an MVP in a World Series because he shut it down. Mariano Rivera. But the obvious call has to be at number 1, Jackie Robinson. Batted .313, 141 home runs, 761 RBIs, 1,563 hits, won an MVP, 7 All-Stars, 1 champion. You're like, Eric, that's not very impressive. His number was retired in 1997 and is no longer allowed to be worn in Major League Baseball history. Number 42, because it's not just about the numbers, it's what he did to break the barrier. He is the greatest 42 of all time. Nobody in Major League Baseball will wear his number again because that's how significant that number is with Jackie Robinson. Has to be your number 1.
Okay, so we did not see this eye to eye.
Wow. If you don't put Jackie Robinson number 1, the man's numbers retired from baseball.
I don't care.
What? Oh,
I don't care. You want the best player, right?
Who?
Best of the 42.
Best 42 of all time.
All right, number 5. I have James Worthy.
Oh,
you gave all the numbers. You know it. 3-time champ. 7 All-Stars. It was okay, but he wasn't. He wasn't the catalyst of those championships.
No double doubles, none of that. I got you.
No, none of that.
And Magic and Scott. He had some.
All those guys. So number 5, that was pretty easy for me.
Okay.
Number 4, I have Jackie Robinson.
You are out of your mind. Go.
I am not out of my mind. His numbers. Look, I'm basing this on numbers. I'm basing it on numbers. I know he broke the barrier. I know all about that stuff, and rightfully so. He got the number retired because of breaking that barrier. I get that. He deserves that 100%. But as of the 42s, he is number 4. 1 championship. 1.
Yes, clearly. Face off and pick and roll all mine this week.
No. There's no winning this.
I won
Number
this.
3, I have Paul Warfield. You gave those numbers. 85 touchdowns in that era was
right. So impressive.
Freaking phenomenal.
Right? That's nuts.
3 championships. Of course, 1 was pre-Super Bowl.
Love it. Good insight.
So, like that era, that was football. They ran the ball.
Yep.
He actually had 204 yards rushing as a receiver. So he was number 3. Here's where I had a difficult time. But not only because I'm a Sox fan, but the 2 players involved in these were clearly the best 2 players. Clearly. It wasn't close. I have Ronnie Lott at number 2. 10-time All-Star, 4 championships, 63
Interceptions.
interceptions.
Dude, 5 touchdowns too. He scored 5 times. Like you think about it
Like
from a safety,
this guy
Ronnie.
is not only one of the best 42s, he's one of the best NFL players of all time. Like, I know how you feel about him. I feel the same way. This guy was a beast. He changed games.
He did.
He changed games.
He did.
There's only maybe one or two other guys that I would find better on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe.
Wait for show 56. I got you.
Yeah. And number 1 might be one of the very few Yankees that I've ever liked. I'm a Red Sox fan, so that's saying something, that I actually liked a Yankee. I respect
thanks for
the
joining.
cheater. And Mariano Rivera was just lights out. His whole
He was.
career, lights out.
He was.
Later on, the Red Sox, with Ortiz and them, they started hitting him later in his career. But that's only a handful of games. They faced each other so many times.
If the important part of that 90s, those late 90 teams with the Yankees when they were dominating, it was Mariano Rivera, because you knew once he went in, the game was
that game was over.
It was there was never a question about it. So now listen, I went with the historical number 42 part. But again, if you think about it, we really had the same list, other than you put Jackie at 4, and then everything else would have been exactly the same. So we kind of looked at it identical.
Yeah, I didn't take the historical fact for anything.
The fact that
if
your number's retired and you're the only person, it's not like just a team retired it. The entire league retired it.
Yeah, and I get that. And he deserves that. Like, he was a good look, he wasn't a chump. He can play the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
listen, you don't have to justify it. You know I won it. It's okay.
But like,
just let it go.
Mariano Rivera had 5 World Series titles. 5.
That's okay.
And one of them was because of him.
We're all wrong at least once in our lives. This clearly was your time. But anyway.
No, this is not wrong.
If you enjoy what you're seeing, check us out every Friday night at 6 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. You can watch us on SEC TV in Southeast Connecticut on Public Access Channel 12 as well on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. And if you don't have time to watch, listen to us on Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify. So many different ways Sports Unfolded is coming at you. We appreciate all the fans, everybody that supports us, all the followers. You guys are great on Twitch. You guys are always, turned out every Friday night for us. We'd love to have more fans out there so we can just keep integrating them into our program. Ron, prediction time, my friend. Guess what? We tied again.
Yeah, but if I would have changed my soccer one.
Ifs and did. So guess what? I think this is like 3 weeks running. We've tied. I think it's 3 weeks straight. So let's see if we can break the trend this week. So first game, major NCAA football game for the SEC championship in Atlanta, Georgia. So that might give them a little bit of an advantage. But number 1, Georgia is facing number 3, Alabama. Who do you got?
It's at Georgia?
It's not at Georgia. It's
that's right. Yeah,
a neutral site.
A neutral site.
But it's in Atlanta, Georgia. So, yeah, you kind of figure out where that's going.
I'm going to go with Alabama.
All right. I'll go with the dogs. I think Georgia. Just because of the Atlanta factor. NFL, 12-5. So, December 5th, Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Going Chiefs as well. I don't think Denver. I not believed in Denver all year. 12-6. New England at Buffalo.
Oh, this is so hard. It's at Buffalo.
It's at Buffalo.
I'm going New England. I have faith.
I'm going Buffalo. It's worked for me last week. I'm doing it again this week. I'm sticking to this now. I picked Tennessee last week. Classic rivalry. Our Boston Celtics at the Lakers on December 7th. Who do you got? Boston at LA. Beat LA. Neither team's playing very well. I mean, they're both hot and cold.
You know what? I'm going to go Celtics.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I'm going to go Lakers. What the hell? Let's get some difference in here. I like it. I think the Lakers. Boston just hasn't wowed me all year. NHL on December 4th.
Well, I usually go against Boston. So.
Yeah. Maple Leafs at Minnesota Wild.
I'm going Toronto.
All right,
Toronto just lit up Colorado the other night with like 8. So, no,
right.
Definitely Toronto.
All right, I think I had it wrong.
Would you go with?
I'm going with Toronto as well. So MSL, so the Major League Soccer is actually in their semifinals this weekend on 12-4. The Real Salt Lake are at the Portland Timbers.
Who's the one that beat New England?
That's the New York Football Club. New York City Football Club.
That's what I thought. So I'm going to go Portland.
All right, I'm going to agree with you. They're home.
Yep.
The New York City Football Club at the Philadelphia Union. Again, the semifinal. These are both teams. Whoever wins goes to the finals, and that's on December 5th.
I'm going to go with New York City.
Oh, I like it. I'm going to go Philly. I'm going to go both home teams here. I'm going to go both home teams.
I just think.
So we've got 4 differences.
New England probably was the best team.
Yeah.
And then they got upset.
Yeah, they did. So we've got 4 different ones again. So you know what? Next week we're probably tying 2-2 again.
No, I'm going to clean sweep.
All right. Let's see. All right. So how we always end our show, we do our final thought. And our final thought doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It can be about anything going on in the world today. This week I am first, so I'll go with my final thought. And my final thought is actually about the Memphis Grizzlies, who had defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder 125-79 last night. A 73-point differential, a new NBA record. The old record was Cleveland beat the Heat back in 1991 by 68. And why I bring this up is because if I'm a fan, I understand the word tank is like taboo. But how bad can you tank before you honestly realize the team really doesn't care? 73 points, that's a little ridiculous. I don't understand it, especially in today's NBA with the way they shoot the ball and throw up threes, that you shouldn't see this in today's game. So little discouraging that a team would allow themselves to get that far down. There was literally a player on the Grizzly that was a plus 52 while they were on the court. Plus 52. That's ridiculous. Like this, that makes no sense. So to me, I just thought it was a tragedy from basketball standpoint. Like they can't let this happen. You can't have these bad teams tank that bad and make it so obvious. But that was my final thought.
Yeah, that's very well said, because like I thought the Celtics were heading there the other night against the Spurs. They shot so poorly.
Yeah.
Well, my final thought is to the NHL disciplinary crew that can't seem to get the suspensions right, and who gets them and what for. I'm on the chat in the NHL, and there's all kinds of people saying, oh, they finally caught the rat, Marchand, blah, 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 blah.
I saw
and
them.
It's like, okay, so my take is all of that clamoring for one guy by fans from all over the league. And I'm like, every single team has one of those guys. Every single team. Every team. And if you look on the suspension list, as of right now, there are about 14 teams represented already. And we're only in 20% of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you're talking about somebody being a rat, and I know Marchand has the reputation. Now, I saw the play, and I knew there was a suspension going to be coming. I'm not so sure he did it on purpose because they were tangled up and, things happen. But like we said before, like it happened with the Montreal game. And look, it's already 2 times PJ Subban has already been suspended for tripping. Like, he wasn't suspended, I should say. He just got fined. He got fined 5,000 and then he got fined 15,000 for basically the same thing of what Marchand did, but he's done it twice already this year. So you cannot say, okay, you deserve a suspension, but you don't, when it's the same thing. And Subban has been doing this for his whole career. And just like Marchand, it should be fair. And then all these other incidents that are going on and people are complaining. It's like, oh, well, he did this to my... You all have one. LA Kings. They take bites. So you all have one. Marchand likes to lick. Your player likes to bite. So stop your whining about one player and stop whining about, the league not getting it right when it comes down to those suspensions. And I get you got to look after those repeat offenders. You have to do that. And I understand that. And Marchand deserved the penalty, the suspension. But it's got to be both ways.
Yeah, no, great point. So, it happens. As fans, we always think our team gets the worst end of the deal, right? Or when somebody else will, like, I finally caught him. But ultimately, listen,
it's like
I don't think it's fair anyway, no matter which way you look at it.
Eric, there was a Vancouver Canuck fan that was still complaining about the face wash that Marchand gave Sedin back in the Stanley Cup. Yeah. Okay. And I'm like, a face wash happens like 20 times a game. Stop complaining about that. How about Sedin sacking up and sticking up for himself?
Yeah, no, it is what it is. So we want to thank everybody that joined us today. Foley, Sarah, Turd Mistress, Kenny, Valkyrie. You guys were great today. Thank you so much. All the fans that are out there, check us out. Again, we talk Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We're all live on all those on Friday nights at 6 p.m. SEC TV in Southeast Connecticut, public access channel 12. You can watch us Tuesday night at 10 p.m. on that channel as well. Follow us, like us, subscribe. So many different ways to watch, listen. Sports and Follow, we're going to continue to come at you. So you got no choice but either watch us or dislike us. But I'm going to tell you right now, once you get hooked, you're not going to find a better sports talk show on the internet.
Nope.
So we're excited to continue
and
to
I
grow.
do my homework. I watch everything.
I'm glad we got to do it again tonight, Ron. Episode 43 coming at you next Friday night, 6 p.m. Ron, take care. Fans out there, you guys have a great night. Peace.
Have a good night, everybody.